So, how you doing, my friend?
I'm awesome, man. You're a big time fitness guy in the industry, man. It's got to talk to you, bro.
Oh, God bless, man. I love what you do as well, man. I'm inspired. I love what you do, encouraging young men to, or men in general, to be more manly, realize the potential that they have within them and not let anxiety hold them back when it comes to approaching women. I think
Exactly.
one of the main questions I have for you is, what do you feel is the biggest mistakes guys do when it comes to approaching women?
So right off the bat, the number one I would say is they approach with outcome dependence, right? I think the reason why a lot of guys are anxious is because they're hoping for a specific outcome when they go up to a girl. They already have this presumed mind that, okay, she's already qualified. I need to qualify myself. So what can I say to get her to just go out with me? Instead of looking at the approach as, okay, I know what my value is. I know what I bring to the table. I'm not so sure how you can add to my life. I know I'm the man. I'm going to have this interaction and make the initiative because I'm a man, but I want to figure out, why should I go out with you? I think that mindset shift comes after men have put in the work. And that's where it's like the disconnect, right? You
Mm.
haven't put in the work to really value who you are. So when you go up to the girl, you're trying to just make it so where like, oh, damn, what can I say to get her to like me? Instead of, I know I'm the shit. I know what I have to offer. I know that you dealing with me as a woman is going to make your life better. So what exactly am I going to get from dealing with you? And the conversation should be not so much like an interview, but you literally asking her questions to see if you would want to see her again. Right. And I think a lot of guys, they look at it like, okay, how do I just say a bunch of stuff or say whatever I remembered? Let me memorize a script, right? And then let me just ask her for a number. Let me just ask her on a date. Let me just get her Instagram. Let me get her Snapchat. And then you're playing like this yo-yo. Like you're trying to like, she's running away, you're pulling her, she's running away, you're pulling her, and you never get what you want. That's my opinion. What my guys are making a mistake of.
It's kind of interesting though, because like when it comes to dating, there is this thing where a guy needs to have it all figured out as to, he needs to make the approach and he needs to know exactly what to say. And she's the decision maker as to whether this is going to all work out. She's going to qualify him. Like,
Yeah,
I'll let you know. I'll get back to you to let you know whether there's going to be a date too. And I think that's where the initial anxiety begins.
yeah,
Because it's like it's almost turned into a cultural belief, you
yeah.
know. I've
And it's
seen that.
crazy. I think it's crazy because at the end of the day, you're going to be the provider and the protector. So you telling me that I'm going to be asking to provide and protect you? I'm going to be coming up to you begging to provide and protect. When you think about it like that, that's literally insane. Like,
No, it doesn't
I'm
make sense.
like, what? So if I'm the man in the relationship, I'm gonna pay all the bills, I'm gonna do all this stuff, and I have to beg you to let me know if that is possible. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. And you know what, guys, they don't want to make that mindset shift. And unfortunately for men, I believe, Roger, like they don't understand that women have this distinction between different dudes. They treat certain dudes like, I know you're the shit, so I'm gonna act right, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm on my P's and Q's for you. But guys, they think that women are treating everybody like this, and there's a distinction. When a woman really values a guy or she really respects him, she's not gonna be disrespectful when you approach her. She's not gonna be acting nonchalant. She's going to be engaged. She's going to want to talk to you, and that's what I tell guys. This conversation you're having with her is, let me see if I would want to see you again. If I don't like you in these 2 minutes that we're talking, I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to possibly provide and protect. So you look at every interaction as a chance of, okay, how do I pre-qualify the girl? And if men start doing that, they're going to have a lot more successful approaches. I even tell guys, man, listen, if you're talking to a girl and she's not asking you any questions back, tell her to have a nice day. If you're not even gonna, if I'm gonna ask you your name and possibly what you do, and you don't even care to ask me back, have a nice day. Why would I want to go out with you? Why would I want to see you again? You're not even interested enough to talk to me, to ask me questions back. You're not the kind of woman that I would want to provide and protect for. If I'm gonna provide and protect, it's got to be on my terms.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. And again, it's one of those where guys feel as though they need to just do their best in hope to win. Like,
Yeah.
and you see a lot of things where it's like interviews and where women are saying, I am the prize, you know? And I think a lot of guys are starting to believe into that, you know? Yeah, they are the prize, we need to work. What do
Yeah.
you feel is important for a lot of guys to gain confidence in knowing that they are the shit, they're worth it, and
Yeah.
to make structure their approach differently?
Right. Okay. Before I answer that, can I ask you a quick question?
Go for it.
You as an established, fitness mogul, how would you say your dating life is currently? Or like, do you notice a difference in how women treat you based on the status, based on the notoriety, based on your physique? Or is it, do you generally still deal with the same games?
I'm in a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
But
before then.
it was quite easy, to be honest with you. But when it came to approaching women, I would say I would just treat them like a human being. You know,
Okay.
just another human being. Have a conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, because of the way you look, if you look really good, some women are a bit intimidated by it.
Yeah.
You know. So if you exchange words with them, sometimes they're like, "Oh wow, I didn't know that you would see me, notice me. I was expecting you to go for a 12 and above and shit like
Right.
that." So I think it can vary per person.
I got you. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that leads into like why I say in order for men to have confidence, they have to put in the work like somebody like you, right? You're established financially with your status, with your business. And the reason why men don't have that confidence is they're not well rounded, right? They don't have they either they want to lead with finances or they want to lead with looks or they want to lead with like, why don't you have everything as a man? Why don't you work so you can have leverage? Like the more well-rounded I am as a man, the better women are going to treat you. So the reason why you're experiencing women when you were approaching them when you were single, think, damn, like why would you talk to me? Because they know your perceived value. And a lot of men don't have any perceived value. Okay, I'm just going to be a regular dude, just surviving and hope that this girl wants to fuck with me. When they got guys like you walking around, it makes no sense. And what men don't get is a woman will always go for a guy who has done the work to establish himself as something. You've established your value. She's not going to pick you as an average guy. She's going to go for the man who's well-rounded, who's worked on his image, who's worked on his status, who's worked on his looks, who's worked on his finances, right? She's going to pick him over you every single day. So in order for you to have that confidence as a man, you got to be dedicating time to each area of your life, your fitness, your finances, your status, and even talking to women, because that's a skill in itself. So I think guys are never going to have the confidence that they want unless they work on being well-rounded.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah.
And then there's less flaws, less issues in the approach. That's that sort of anxiety because they're going to be wondering to themselves, do I have my shit together,
Yeah.
or how do I compare to other men that have spoken to this woman? For guys that are trying to start a conversation, what would you say is the best approach for those guys?
I would say make eye contact with the girl. All right. Go up, introduce yourself. Hey, my name is FitXfearless. You seem like an interesting person, so I came up and introduced myself. All right. I don't really believe in validating a girl. Like a lot of guys think that if I just go up to her and just tell her how pretty she is, that's a good way to start. But I think that social dynamics per se, if you go up leading with a compliment as a man, she's heard that so many times that you're now creating a perceived lower value for yourself. It's not that you can't ever compliment a woman, but what have men that she has always considered as lower value done? Lead with a compliment. So you can be a guy that has a lot of good things going for yourself, but if you're going up to her saying, "Oh, damn, baby, you look good," she's like, every other simp, every other loser that I've rejected acted just like that. So I'm gonna put you in that category. Like, you don't have to put yourself in that category. Just go up to her, introduce yourself, right? Tell her your name, ask her what her name is, maintaining good eye contact, having calm and relaxed body language. And if the conversation persists, cool. You're now getting to know who she is. Make sure that she's asking you questions back. And if you like how this conversation is going and you would want to see her again, okay, now you invite her to come be a part of your life. Right? Not the opposite. You're not inviting me. Like, you're not taking me out. I'm going to take you out. So yeah, that's how I think a man should approach the most optimal way. Now, a lot of people will say, "Oh no, you can go this and say this," but they don't think about it deeper. I'm always looking at it in different layers. Right? I'm not looking at it as just the approach. I'm looking at it as how you're being perceived as a man. And if she perceives you as higher value, she will treat you as such.
Yeah. It makes sense. It totally makes sense. I think sometimes it really depends on what her first impression is of you just by the way you look. So if you look like a 10, if you give her a compliment, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. You
can
can.
survive.
Oh my God, I'm getting that from you.
Yeah.
If you are not, then yeah, it definitely lowers your value.
Yeah.
What would you say to those? Because like these days, people are using dating apps in order to get on a date. What's your thoughts on dating apps, and what would you say is the important way to be successful in dates if you are to use one?
Okay. So a lot of people that are unsuccessful with dating apps try to make it seem like dating apps are the biggest crime. I love dating apps, but I think, but hear me out. I think this is why men hate dating apps, because it's a natural selection process, right? Women don't have to pretend to be nice to you now. It's the same thing as in person. When a woman is on a dating app, she doesn't have to pretend to give you a conversation because she thinks you're unattractive. She just swipes left. So what a lot of men are seeing on dating apps is reality. That girl that you approached, that you might have got her number, but she never even hit you up, she would have swiped left on you on a dating app. It's the most raw form of, in my opinion, dating dynamics. If you work on your image, you work to have good profiles, you set yourself up correctly, you can have tremendous success on dating apps. I'm gonna give you an example. I have a student of mine, right? His name is Kyle. He came to me. He had already done a little bit of the work, right? He had worked on his fitness a little bit, but he was unsure about dating apps because dating apps are like this big mystery for men. So I worked with this guy for about a couple of weeks, helped him get some professional photos, helped him put these professional photos on the dating apps, work on his prompts, everything, make sure that he highlighted himself in an attractive way. His first ever day on dating apps, right? He got like over 100 new matches. And this was something that didn't even think was possible in the beginning. I'm like, you guys don't understand that you are capable of getting the same result if you just do it the right way. Now, I would say a lot of men will look at dating apps and go, okay, this is my perfect opportunity to never talk to girls again. I don't agree with that. I think men should look at meeting women like business, right? Business, you acquire customers through different mediums, right? You market yourself, you market your business. I believe that you should market yourself very well on dating apps, but also be able to market yourself when you see a beautiful girl in person. You can't let go of in-person approaches just because you're on dating apps. And you
Mm-hmm.
can't say, oh, I'm not going to get on dating apps because you want to talk to girls in person. Right. So you have to have it all, in my opinion. That's why I talk about this being well-roundedness. Right. Instead of complaining about dating apps, how about you just do dating apps the right way so your dating life is on autopilot?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing, Roger, is a lot of guys, they want to be successful, but they don't like to think deep. So if I want to be a successful man, that means that I'm going to have to work a lot, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to neglect my intimate life. You still want to have intimacy as a man. Intimacy is very important for your psyche. You want to be around women that you like. Now, how are you going to do that? Build a big business or build a big career if you don't have mediums where you can attract women without having to spend that much time. So you think you're gonna make a bunch of money and the only way you can meet women is to go out in the streets and approach? You're gonna be extremely frustrated. If you work on your image so you can have women attracted to you on dating apps, when you do go out in person, you're not going out in hunger, right? You're not
Yeah.
going out, oh my God, I need to get laid. I need to talk to this girl. I can just check my phone and I have plenty of girls who want to go on a date with me. So if I'm walking on the streets and I see a beautiful girl, I'm no longer approaching her with thirstiness or scarcity. I'm
Mm-hmm.
approaching her out of abundance and she will treat me better.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so for those whose profiles are looking a little bit weak, what would
Yeah.
you say are three key things that they should have on their profile to increase their attractiveness or success?
Okay. So number one, you got to start looking at yourself more objectively. I think a lot of guys look at their looks very subjective, what they like and what they prefer. I think that every single man can fit in a phenotype. All right. There are other men that look like you who've kind of already figured out how to maximize their looks. So what I challenge guys to do is first, number one thing to do is find guys in your phenotype. Find guys that look like you, experiment with their hairstyles, experiment with their look, see what they're doing. They're all over social media, right? Find out what the pictures these guys are taking, how they pose, how they dress, and you want to mimic it with your own uniqueness and style and highlight yourself in that way, right? Whether you're a black dude, white dude, Asian dude, whatever, there are guys who are already crushing it that look like you. So figure out what those guys are doing, and then you start to implement it. Next would be professional photos. If you're not taking professional photos, in my opinion, you're joking. Like the beauty of professional photos is they not only work for dating apps, but they work for business too. If you want to be like, look at your profile, you fill up full with professional photos. If you want people to treat you differently, you want to be treated with respect, you want to be treated as a professional, you want to look the part, you got to take photos that look the part. All right. Maybe you taking a selfie in your bathroom isn't gonna cut it. Right. Like I always say half-ass effort, half-ass results.
Mm-hmm.
You want to half-ass your dating life, you're gonna get half-ass results. If you put maximum effort, you're gonna get maximum results. So that's number two, right? Professional photos. And number three, I would say trying to get off the apps as fast as possible. I think a lot of guys make the mistakes of, okay, I'm on this dating app. I'm going to sit up here and chit chat with girls, and eventually I'm going to get one of them to like me. The problem is women are extremely selective on dating apps. And for the most part, for guys who don't know, women don't have to have paid subscriptions. The reason why this is so important is this. Men, for the most part, have to have a paid subscription so you could be shown to most women. Women don't have the paid subscription. So guess who they're always shown? They're always shown the top guys. So that's what guys don't get. When a woman gets on a dating app, she gets on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, right? They're always going to show her the guys who get swiped on the most. They won't even show her you.
So is that how it works? Like,
yes.
Okay, so is it an algorithmic thing, or is it a case of it actually shows people who's being swiped the most?
They show, yes, that's it's called an ELO score. Dating apps they're incentivized to keep the women on the apps. When the women are on the apps, men pay. Guys don't even understand what the fuck is going on. This is what's going on. When women are on, they want to keep the girls on the apps as much as possible so that men keep paying. So they're gonna always be showing the girls the top guy profiles.
Right.
So if you're not one of the top guys or the guys that are swiped on the most, you're not even going to get looked. They won't even know you exist. So that's why I'm like, you got to get up. You got to make sure your image is on point. You got to find your phenotype and you got to get off these apps as quick as possible. I had a girl one time, bro. I swear to God, she showed me her Bumble. It was like 100 people waiting. I was one of the few guys she matched with. This is on all platforms because they don't have an incentive to show a guy who has mediocre photos and nobody's swiping on you. The girl's not going to use the app. If the girl gets on Bumble and she sees nothing but average looking dudes, she's off.
Right.
Right. So if she gets on Bumble and she sees, oh, he looks good, he looks good, he looks good, she only gets a certain amount of swipes a day. So if guys don't know, when a woman doesn't have the premium service, she can only swipe a certain amount of times a day. Opposed to you as a man, if you have the premium service, you can swipe unlimited. When you don't, you can only make a certain amount of swipes. In those swipes, they're showing her the best profiles because they know she's not going to pay for the shit, but you are. Like, that's what it's a very competitive game that guys don't want to. And I'm not saying all of this to make guys like frustrated. I'm telling you that this is an opportunity. Right.
Can I just say, you got guys that are not stereotypically attractive. So in the normal world where they can speak to a woman that they can see in person, at least they'll be able to get their personality across for the woman to be like, oh, you know what? You don't really look that great, but I love your personality. I can work with that. How does a guy with a great personality who is not so attractive gain some sort of luck on an app?
Okay, this is the one thing that I would say. All right, I think that every single guy can be at least an 8. Here's my reason for it. Right? Because I don't think most men are ugly. I talk to men every single day. They're just trying the wrong shit. Right? They just experimenting with the wrong things, experimenting with the wrong hairstyles, or they're not in the best of shape. A lot of guys would be just significantly more attractive if they lost a little bit of weight, added on a little bit of muscle, started to dress better. So you don't have to have model-like looks. But as a man, what the beautiful thing about being a man is women judge you off of more than just how your face looks. She's looking at the whole package, right? Are you confident? Is your face handsome? Are you fashionable? A woman can like different shit in a guy. She might like a guy who just dresses really well. So why not check that box? You can fix how you dress. She can like a guy who's in really good shape. You can get in good shape. She can like a guy with a clean cut or a cut that matches his facial structure. Why not do that? Clean teeth. Like you can do so many things to control how you're being perceived or your attractiveness as a man that you can, with your personality, you can at least be considered a handsome guy. I think every single guy can. You can get in better shape, start to dress better, take care of your skin, like be more fashionable, and women will treat you a lot better. I noticed because I wasn't the guy that women were breaking their necks for 4 years ago. Right? I had a patchy beard, right? I was like living in a studio. Like, bro, I went through the same problems in journey. I know that every man can be more attractive. So yeah, your personality will keep women, but you run the risk of dealing with women who are gonna put you in the friend zone because you're just a great person to talk to, but they just don't find you that physically attractive. So the least you can do as a man is at least maximize your physical attractiveness to your best of your ability.
Let me expand on that. Like you mentioned friend zone. You get some guys who tend to get put in the friend zone and those who don't. what would you say are the determining factors to separate yourself, make yourself more of a suitor, as someone that she could be attracted to, as opposed to friend zone? What is hindering guys where they're kind of trying, but they end up just being friend zoned? What's the
Right.
thing that they are missing?
I think outside of them being more physically attractive, a lot of guys are scared to shoot their shot. So a lot of guys, you haven't even tried to ask the girl out. They get a girl and they would just be texting, hoping that he can convince her through text to like her. Just ask the girl out. That's something that guys don't understand. Women are so attracted to confidence that you just being confident enough to say, hey, how about we go on a date? Because I want to get to know you. She admires and respects that confidence like more than she would you texting her, trying to be nice, eventually hoping that she likes you one day, because now she thinks you're soft. So one thing I would say that helped me a lot, even when I didn't work on my looks as much in the past, just being bold enough to go for it. You see women with dudes who are not the best looking. You see, it's not like let's not kid ourselves. We're not walking around seeing girls and the only dudes they're with are models.
No.
Right. You see girls with regular guys. Those guys just have the balls. Like, hey, I like you. I want to go out with you. Hey, let's do it. Like, try. don't let yourself be put in the friend zone. If you don't want to go out with me, no problem. But the last thing I'm gonna do is just to be talking to you and hope that one day you eventually like me. So I would say probably the biggest thing that keeps guys like away from actually getting dates with girls or being put in the friend zone is the fact that they're too scared to try.
Yeah. What about guys? Let's say they've been in a relationship for a long time.
Yeah.
They ain't really been out on the market for a while. And now they're like, okay, I need to get in a relationship again. What would you say should there be a waiting period first before he decides to look? And how should he go about it if he just doesn't know how to approach women? He's just been in relationships for a long time.
Right.
How should he start?
That's a great question. I think a lot of guys that have been in long-term relationships, what they do is they get stuck in analysis paralysis. They look at the current modern dating like atmosphere and they get scared. What I want guys to do is, if you're going through a breakup right now, the first thing you want to do is to analyze why did the relationship end. I think a lot of guys don't do that because there are a lot of lessons that you can take from this interaction that will help you with women moving forward. So when a relationship ends, both of you have some fault in this. Regardless of how bad you claim the girl is or she's that, you had a role to play. You might have got weak. You might have started getting complacent. You might have stopped dating the girl. You might have started, acting like a bitch. So she stopped respecting you. There are several things that you did to leave, because women are not going to leave a guy that they feel is their best option.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way a woman will never leave a dude that she thinks is the overall best dude for her. She won't do it. So you caused her in some way to stop thinking that you were her best option, or you never made her feel like you were her best option. If she thought that you're the best guy she can get, she ain't going nowhere. So what did you do? Take some responsibility. What did you do to cause this girl to let this lead to a breakup? Because you did it. It was your fault. I want to put the blame on men, because that's how you that's how you get power. Blaming the girl. Yeah. Right. Blaming the girl doesn't give you any power. What did I do to fuck up? Take what you did to fuck up and say, okay, how do I go and be the man that women don't leave? If you've been with this girl for a long time, understand that it's going to take you a while to get over her. You're not going to get over a girl who you've been with for a few years in a week, in a day. It's not going to happen. That's not realistic. Right. But the last thing you want to do is sit around wallowing in self-pity, begging her to come back because she's not going to respect you. Go out there, start talking to women, right? Putting yourself out there, start working on every area of your life, maximizing every area of your life. And you'll see that, okay, taking the lessons I have from my past relationship, with now me working to make sure I'm a better man now, I can keep the girls that I want long term.
Should he do that immediately?
I
Or
think so.
Yeah?
I think so. Because the longer he takes, and waits around, it only makes the void, it makes the void feel bigger. Especially if you've been with the girl for a while. Like if you've been with a girl for a while and she's your only source of intimacy, like this is a person you had a personal connection with, and you just sit around not doing anything, like it's gonna grow and grow and grow. I don't think a man should sit around and wait. I think that you should get out there, make dating normal again for you. All right.
That's interesting because, it would probably, obviously you can't speak on behalf of women, but like women would be told, just hang about a bit. Don't rush into a relationship. Just establish yourself, get to know who you are again, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I don't think they should get into a relationship fast again. No.
Right.
But getting comfortable talking to women and attracting them. See, one thing that I don't like about men that I wish men could change is that we think that getting in a relationship is easier. I think that if you're going to pick a partner for you, there should be a vetting process.
Yeah.
And you can't get into a relationship out of scarcity. A lot of guys are watching this in relationships out of scarcity. You dated the first girl that gave you some pussy. You dated the first, like you didn't have any options and you just picked her. That's why the relationship ended. If you say, okay, this relationship is over, I'm now going to create a life of abundance. And the next woman that I decide to go out with, right? I'm going to make sure she's the best girl for me. And I'm doing my part as a man to be the man that she needs, right? You can pick the right partner from abundance. Guys think, oh, because I want a girlfriend, that means less work. I think it's more work. If you want to pick a right partner in today's world, how is that less fucking work? You need to put in I got to make sure she's the right girl. I got to vet her. I got to make sure we have aligned values. I got to make sure, I think the process of finding a really high quality partner is a lot harder than a lot of guys make it seem. So go out there, start making yourself a catch, start seeing what you want. You don't even know what you want in a woman. Go figure out what you want in a girl. What are the things that you desire from a partner? Figure out which girl meets that. And over time, you can make her the next girlfriend. But sitting there doing nothing is not going to make you, I don't think it's going to make you the man. Because the reason why women are told, Roger, take a break, establish yourself, is because they still have to be picked. The girl cannot do anything, bro, and you pick her. So that's why guys need to understand that we're still the one making the selection. If she's the right girl for you, she doesn't have to necessarily beat down your door and come ask you to take her out. You will pick her. So women can afford to do nothing. You can't as a dude. You see what I'm saying?
That's interesting. Yeah, that is fascinating. That is really interesting. Yeah. What about guys that continually get rejected? Every time they make an approach, they're going out there, they're working really hard, they're trying to get a date. They don't want to be in the friend zone. They've been in the friend zone for a long time. It's like, no, I'm tired of it. I want to get a date. And they're trying and they're getting rejected. And now they've started to become a little bit maybe desperate. What do they do in that situation?
Okay. So what I like to tell guys is, if you haven't been getting no ass, the reason why you haven't been getting no ass is because of what you were doing. So this is what I mean. If you're acting out of scarcity, won't get you sex. Women are repulsed by men who need sex. If they feel like you're thirsty, they want to run away from you. So if you're in a position where you're going through a drought, the best thing you could do is to try to diversify how you're meeting women. If you've been rejected, okay, try a different approach. How about you prioritize your fitness, all these things, while you're still getting more comfortable talking to women? How about you also get on dating apps? If you can diversify how you're meeting women, it's like business. I always tell guys, business and women are the same thing. If you're only acquiring customers from one medium, eventually you're literally dependent on this one source to bring you all your customers. The more places you have customers coming from, the less reliant you are on one medium. So you're not out here begging people to buy your programs. Hey, buy my shit. That's what happens when you don't have diversity or like an abundance in acquisition, right? So if you separate and make it broad how you meet women, hey, next time that you do approach, you may not get rejected because oh, I got that date with that girl from dating apps this weekend because I listened to Roger, right, or FitX, and I did a photo shoot, and the girl thinks I look good, right? So now, if I go up to a girl, I'm not needing her to tell me yes. I'm kind of just like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, let me see if I like you, right? So, making where you meet women as varied as possible, expanding how you meet women, in my opinion, is the fastest way to get out of that scarcity, get out of that drought.
Yeah, makes sense, man. I've noticed that some guys, when I speak to them, they sound extremely boring.
Yeah.
And I'll learn that they're single, and I'm like, I see why. They might even look all right, but they're just really boring. What do you say to guys who just don't know how to talk properly? Just have a decent conversation, have maybe know how to have a little bit of tonality and fluctuation in their voice. They're just like really monotone and boring. What would you say to those guys so that they can at least sound more interesting and have a bit more of a personality when they're speaking to a woman?
Right. I think this is a big problem, and I'm glad you noticed this. A lot of guys are very, very socially awkward, and this is because they're not practicing being social. They're stuck on their phones. They're stuck on the game. They don't talk to anybody, right? I'm lucky enough to be one of the last few generations that understood what life was like without phones. Like by the time I didn't really get a phone till I was in college, right? It wasn't that prevalent. Social media wasn't that prevalent until I was in college. So when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, I had to go outside and talk to people. I think many men today are just not social. So the reason why guys have this monotone is because they don't practice talking to people. I think, and it's something that will help guys with women. Forget talking to women. How about you talk to men? Have a conversation with a guy. When's the last time you saw a guy at the gym and you had a conversation with, hey man, you look good, bro. Where you from? Like, just practicing being more social will improve your social skills. Like, you're not going to become very socially aware if you don't talk to anybody. Right. So practice talking to people. Like, you should make it a habit to talk to people. Like, be very, very social. You will notice that you're going to get more comfortable talking to people. And if you become very social, it's going to be easy for you to talk to girls.
Yeah, totally agree. I remember when I was single, I remember reading a book called The Game. It's probably
Yeah.
not very popular anymore.
I know
I
the
just
book.
read it. Huh?
I know the exact book.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was like, a friend of mine told me about it. We used to go out a lot, and he was like, "Oh, you got to check out this book." He was like, because he believed that I'd read it. He'd seen me out on the field, and he was like, "You definitely read this book." And I was like, "I've never heard of the book." Anyway, he gave it to me. He lent it to me, and I read it. I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing stuff! People
Yeah.
are actually going out there and doing this." So I thought, let me just test it out, and it was quite amazing. I think I already had some of those things rooted in, but it was kind of interesting to create a little bit of structure when it came to approaching women. I thought this is a different way to do stuff. But what I also found very interesting from the book is that there were references to other books as well, like learning about neuro linguistic programming, like understanding body language and and psychology and that sort of thing. And I think just generally understanding these principles could help you in life.
Yeah.
Are there any books which you would suggest for a person to get as a staple or an introduction to being a better person, knowing how to approach a more robust human being or
Okay.
man?
So I do know the book. I think you're speaking of the book by Rouge V.
The
I'm
game,
not
it was actually written by Neil
Juan
Strauss.
Neil Stratus. Okay. So there is a book that I read that kind of got me into um this whole like understanding women being more social. And that was Day Game by Rouge V. This
Okay.
is like when I was super young, I read this book. And one of the things that it taught me was the golden 100, like talking to 100 women. I think a man will tremendously improve their social skills if they just make it a habit to just go up and talk to girls, not
Mm-hmm.
wanting the outcome, not needing their number. But when it comes to like psyche stuff, I would say for me, probably my favorite book is called Millionaire Mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think it's by, I forgot the guy's name. Um, I think it's Ecker or something like that. This book, I believe, helps you understand that at the end of the day, you're responsible for everything that you want if you're willing to take the chance and if you don't limit yourself. So I would say two books specifically: Millionaire Mind. I think it's by T. Harv Eker, and
Okay.
Day Game by Rouge V.
All
Those
right.
two. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice one, man. Nice one. Look, FitX, it's been incredible, man. I think we've got some golden nuggets for the people to learn.
Appreciate
Guys,
you, man.
you need to follow this dude, FitX. Absolutely amazing. So you have like a platform where guys can go to you for coaching, isn't it? So that
Yeah,
they can.
I
Yeah,
have
go.
several platforms. But all a guy has to do is just go to my Instagram. I prefer that they go and watch the content first. And if they decide that they want help, cool. If not, no worries. But there's plenty of free resources on my Instagram at FitXfearless, YouTube, TikTok. Like start there and start soaking up some information.
And
Yeah.
if they want to sign up, because I'm guessing there's a link in
Yeah.
your bio.
It's super simple. Like if a guy ever wants to sign up, all you have to do is DM me King on Instagram.
King. All
Yeah, just
right.
go to my platform. You look at the profile, just message me King to get started.
Amazing.
All
FitX,
right.
thanks again, man. I love your stuff. You give the unfiltered, brutal truth. So if anyone is going to work with you, they need to understand your approach. I've seen some of the videos where you've posted your coaching and you just tell the guys how it is. There's
Yeah,
no sugarcoating. And I feel that that is a very good approach. Guys
yeah.
need that approach if they want to be stronger men.
And that's actually free. Those clips you see are free. They're on my YouTube. So
Oh,
I do those free every single week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. All you have to do is on YouTube, like turn on the notifications, subscribe, and I let guys come on here, ask me free advice, and I give them some looks maxing advice or some life advice, and it's completely free.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's great stuff, man. FitX,
All right.
thank you
All
so
right.
much, brother.
All right,
I
G.
appreciate
I'm
it.
gonna end the recording.
All right, cool.